Good evening. The regular meeting of the Planning Commission is called to order for June 10th, 2025. We will now take a moment for silent prayer or meditation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Hang.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joanne, can you call the roll?
Sure. Commissioner Castellanos.
Here.
Commissioner Lewis.
Here.
Commissioner Reyes.
Here.
Commissioner Hang.
Here.
Chair Becerra.
Here.
The records show all planning commissioners are present.
Tonight we have the minutes of the regular meeting for May 13th, 2025. Are there any amendments to the minutes? The minutes are adopted as presented. Okay, now we'll move on to oral communications. Would anyone like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? I believe we have one card. Frank, is it Ackley? Okay. Would you like to come forward?
I understand this is a planning commission. I'm not here to point any fingers or disparage anybody. My question is, we're in the 21st century, and due to the extenuating circumstances of the Eaton Canyon fire and the Palisades fire, and my background, I worked for Union Pacific Railroad under power distribution, all the way up to 16,000 volts. We've got a project going on in the Bainbridge, California area. They're putting in new street lights, concrete poles is what I read. But they're not putting any of the utility underground. I asked the guy today that was digging the anchors, and he didn't know. And I think we're kind of overlooking a problem that could be in the future. We need to go underground, and this would have been the prime time to do it. And same way with observing the lines going up California from Francisquito all the way to the mall. At one point, the 16,000 volt lines do go underground to pass under Cameron, but they come back above ground, and just about 300, 400 feet south of the mall, they go back underground. I think we need to start addressing with the utility, such as Frontier Communications and people who have the analog as well as the spectrum for TV cable and Wi-Fi cable, and also with Edison that has all the branch lines that are going in behind the houses, and start a program where we, as time goes on, we start moving things underground. Now, from my experience, from when I put things underground for a railroad, the initial cost is higher, but the maintenance is low, very low. And one of the problems is if we have a good earthquake, we're going to have poles snapping. And 16,000 volt lines, that current they're coming up through residential areas, that can cause us problems. I just wish somebody would take a look and kind of plan ahead and start making moves to get all these wires and everything underground. And that's all my observation is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joanne, would that be a discussion for City Council?
That would not be under the Planning Commission's purview, although when the Planning Commission does approve new structures or major additions, there is always a condition of approval requiring undergrounding.
We have no public hearings on this evening's agenda, so we'll move on to non-hearing items. Consideration of the art in public places for the 2024-2025 annual work program. Tonight we'll hear the staff report regarding the art in public places annual work program for 24-25. Joanne, who will present the staff report?
I'll be delivering the staff presentation. So the city has an arts and public places program, and in the arts and public places section of the municipal code, it requires that an annual report be given. So this is the annual report. So the projects that are required to participate in the arts and public places program are new residential construction with subdivisions of 10 or more, non-residential projects that cost $500,000 or more, or expansion and or remodeling of an existing non-residential project with the cost of $250,000 or more, mixed-use projects, and also capital improvement program projects that involve construction of public buildings or facility that have a cost of $500,000 or more. So each one, when a developer or the city, in the case of capital improvement projects, when a structure is being constructed or falls under these criteria, 1% of the total cost or valuation of the project is required to be contributed to either the Arts and Public Places program in lieu fee, or a 1% of that cost of project would be required to go towards the construction or commissioning of public art. That 1% is for non-residential or capital improvement program projects, but for residential, it is 0.5% of the total project valuation. So these on the projector are types of projects or artwork or programs that can be funded for the Arts in Public Places in lieu fund that has been collected by the city. It could be used to commission the installation of public art, the maintenance or restoration of existing public artwork, education programs or events, plaques or signage, the publicity or promotion of public art programs and functions, training and development for staff involving the Arts and Public Places program, and then cost directly associated with the administration of the program. So in 2024, the Planning Commission had approved 3 different artwork in 2 different locations. The first artwork on the projector that is depicted by flying doves is located in the Queen of the Valley campus, Eminent Health Campus, and it is located in front of the medical office building, and the cost for this particular piece of artwork is $200,000. And then the other piece of artwork within the same property is the geometric tree-like sculpture in the bottom of the projector, and the cost for that is $300,000. The bronze sculpture depicting a family walking was actually located on 1611 through 1623 West San Bernardino Road, in front of a commercial industrial condominium project. However, unfortunately, this bronze statue was recently stolen. And so somebody had come in and sawed off the legs of the statue, so what's left is like a couple of feet. So we will be working with the property owner and hopefully being able to replace it. As far as existing artwork is concerned, the city has only commissioned one artwork through the Arts in Public Places program, and it's the Veteran Memorial Wall in the Civic Center. The photograph of the Veteran Memorial Wall is up in the projector, and the project cost at that time was $186,000, and that's including $10,000 that the nonprofit veterans group contributed and raised as part of their fundraising effort. So most recently, prior to Memorial Day, we worked with a few veterans, a veteran group, to add three names that were originally missed three names that was originally missed of World War II veterans. And we also added the date that the Afghanistan war ended, which was 2021. And the cost for that was $1,100. So the current fund balance that has been collected from the in lieu fee from several different projects that the city has had is total. The total fund balance is currently $742,780, and in the proposed 2025-2026 fiscal year budget, $200,000 of that has been allocated to the painting of City Hall. The painting of City Hall, or the renovation of the exterior of City Hall, is allowable in the Arts in Public Places program because City Hall has been identified as an excellent example of a brutalist type of architecture. So it qualifies as artwork because through its architecture. The potential locations of public art that these funds can be spent on is installation of public art in potentially other in-city parks, downtown West Covina along Glendora, or in other public places. One thing that staff is planning on doing is delivering the same presentation or similar presentation to the City Council, whereas we will deliver or let the City Council know any recommendations that the Planning Commission has made regarding the Art in Public Places program. So I would appreciate if the Planning Commission can discuss any ideas on what you would like to see and where. In the past, artwork was proposed in or the city council had considered or directed staff to look into artwork to be installed as a mural at Orangewood Park Skate Park. However, upon investigation after the Arts and Public Places Subcommittee was created, it was found that the skate park was in terrible condition, and it needed to be renovated. It requires an extensive renovation in order to put the artwork there, so that project did not continue, or is not going to continue at this time. So when the artwork at Orangewood Park was discussed, the Arts and Public Places Subcommittee was created, and the purpose of the subcommittee was to discuss ideas for potential public art, what kind of artwork they wanted to see, and the location, and they are also tasked with reviewing the artwork after the artist renderings have been completed. But it never had gotten to that point. So at that time, the members of the subcommittee was one city council member, one community and senior services commissioner, and one planning commissioner. And there was also a staff liaison. With that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council to reestablish the Arts and Public Places Subcommittee, and also to provide some ideas for potential location of public art. If the Planning Commission has any questions, I'm available to answer.
Joanne, just curious, what are there limitations in terms of utilizing the money solely for visual art? Is that what's intended?
There's no limitations in the code. It can be used for visual art, or like, for instance, like an arts program or contest or something of that sort. Like, it can be performing arts, or basically any type of art. It's not limited to just visual arts.
Okay, all right. And just curious, where does the art and education program and events have to take place? Does it have to take place within the city? Does it have to take place on the property that paid the 1% or 0.5% in lieu of fee? How does that work?
It doesn't. The code doesn't specify where it has to take place, but it would have to be something that the city is involved with.
Okay. Thanks.
Are there any other questions or comments regarding this report? I have a quick question. I know that this was implemented in 2004, and I've seen, throughout the city, the art. My question was, would this be something that would be, and I'm not trying to change everything, it's just a question, would it be better to take those funds and make them to give incentives for new businesses to come to West Covina, something where it could be used to, the art is nice. It's thinking outside the box.
Yeah, unfortunately, per the municipal code, it would not be able to be used for incentives for businesses to come. It can only be used for the items listed on the projector.
Thank you, Joanne.
So, Joanne, are you saying that we couldn't make a recommendation to change what these funds are used for to the City Council? No,
not at this. You can, if you have certain thoughts, you can, I guess, make that recommendation. However, this is an ordinance, so you can voice your recommendations or your thoughts to the City Council. However, ultimately, it would require a code amendment.
And could that be initiated by the Planning Commission, or would that, because of the fact that it is a funding mechanism, would that have to be initiated at the city council level, or can it just be a recommendation?
It can be a recommendation. The planning commission initiate a code amendment that's not in the development code. Okay. Okay. This arts and public places section of the code is not in the development code, so for zoning code. So it would have to be. We would have to do additional research to see if the planning, if a change in the municipal code outside of the development code can be initiated by the planning commission. Typically, it's initiated by the city council.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, does anyone have any other further questions or comments?
I think it's important in the city that we do have visual artwork. It's very vague in terms of how and what we use this particular funds for. Out of the 700 and something thousand, we're spending 200 plus thousands on painting a building, which is our city hall here. To me, art, when you travel, you see a particular piece of art that is special, that people actually want to take picture. I'm not saying that people don't want to take picture of the city hall, but I'm just saying that art is unique and it should last, not just for a moment in time, but it should last for future generations to be able to see it and be part of the city. And that's that's how I see it, as an art piece. And maybe perhaps in the futures we can have meetings to discuss about what type of arts that we want to have in the future for this type of funds, because the developers or the businesses actually pay into these funds for artwork that I presume that they wanted to see in the futures that they can contribute to the city, or they did contribute to the city for that, for the funds.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, through the chair, I think we could do exactly that as part of today's recommendation. So I think we don't really need to wait for the future to make those recommendations. I think we could make any and all recommendations today, right here, right now, for the council to consider, because to a large degree, that's what staff is recommending for us to do that. So I think we could do that today without delay. So, I mean, I guess I'll go first in that regard, as far as recommending to the council to utilize a portion of the Art and Public Places funds here at City Hall. I would say I don't have input as to the design or what kind of art, but I would say, yes, I think it would be nice and prudent and overdue to try to spruce it up out here a little bit. With what was mentioned earlier about copper being stolen, that wouldn't be the first time, so I would recommend no more copper statues, because they will get stolen. Maybe I'll recommend concrete statues. I think that'll be a little bit harder and less of an incentive to mess with. Outside of that, I'll ask my fellow commissioners what, if any, recommendations or ideas to mention to the council.
I've seen the art at a dealership. It looks kind of awkward. I mean, does it have to be a dealership, grocery stores? Can we just make them like city buildings, or maybe like, I know there's something at the McIntyre Center there. I mean, those were they're larger. I mean, just for an individual building business to have to, because they, constructed a building there, so they have to put in a. I just think it just looks awkward. I mean, have them if there's something they have to donate or appropriate towards their business that they're building there, then have it go towards an account for incentives to bring businesses in. I just think, I see some of them and they do look very nice. I just think that they're not appropriate for some buildings.
I
That's
agree.
my opinion.
I agree. I think one of the big problems, though, is that the fund itself is only an in lieu of fund. So if some builder comes in and says they want to build something and then they want to put in the art and we approve it, there's nothing going into that fund. So that's sort of the inherent catch-22. Like, for example, in the dealerships, I agree with you, it looks awkward, but the problem is, and again, that was their decision. They decided that they wanted to put in the
Can
actual
that be, I mean,
artwork.
you know, can they relook at it and just, you know, make it a mandatory instead of art, make it mandatory to put for other businesses? It's business contributing to future businesses.
Well, I don't think we could do that because typically that type of fund comes from the federal government through CBDG. So it's kind of like two different pots of money that we don't want to commingle. So for
Businesses aren't paying for that.
No. Grants that trickle down from the feds to us to be able to, assist with, whether it's weather control improvements for homes or whether it's helping fund new businesses through grants, whatever it may be. That's a special pot of money that comes straight from the feds. This is a pot of money that gets, as was discussed, it gets created by way of new development. So I think to some extent it would be kind of inappropriate to say to a business, hey, you're going to fund this new pot of gold, and by the way, that business is going to get that.
Again, so
Because it's really coming from one business to another. So I think I like that idea, but I think we should keep the funding of businesses to the federal funds that come our way for that purpose.
Also, because it's a fee, and you'd be changing the purpose of the fee, I think it would be subject to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Madam City Attorney, but it's, what is it, Prop 2 something? I always forget. 218? Yeah. So, needless to say, because it's a fee, it would require potential input, and depending on how it was structured, it would potentially even have to be voted on by the citizens of West Covina in terms of whether or not they agreed with that. So that's the only catch-22 with that. I did want to comment on something that you said with regard to statues. Honestly, I've seen all of the statue work that's gone into sort of public artwork in the city, and I mean, really the only stuff that has any redeeming value, I think, would be, at least in my mind, because it actually is something unique and meaningful and not some banal, it's a, random family, like, okay, who cares, is the stuff up at the Heights, or I think the big horse statue at McIntyre Square is pretty cool too, and obviously the Veterans Wall, of course. But again, with regard to things that are not the Veterans Wall, I think everything else is kind of just. I mean, what connection does it have? It makes it feel just sort of like, hey, we had to put an art project here, so here, let's put in some random. I don't want to use the word, but to be honest with you, it's got zero appeal to me. So, I mean, from my perspective, yeah, I agree with you, but I think we're kind of cudgeled into continuing on this program. I mean, realistically, there'd be plenty of different cool things we could do. We could do like a musical road or something like that. I mean, honestly, I think we could do better things than just random family artwork or Joe Schmo's kid playing at the park. Who cares? Sorry, I hate to sound so glib about it, but the bottom line is it has zero city connection to me, and it's not going to be something that anyone in our city is going to remember 50 years from now in any meaningful sense. I mean, it's like the airplane park. Everybody knows what airplane park is, right? That has some connection to the city, right? But, no one remembers the decapitated statues. I'm sorry. So, I mean, I would just say, let's stay away from statues. I mean, I don't really think that they stand the test of time all that well. I mean, the problem is as you're saying, copper, bronze, people steal this stuff. People run into it. People try to pull it down with cars and all kinds of other stuff. Honestly, it's just an attractive nuisance, and somebody's going to do something stupid, unfortunately, because our society just has lost its way to some degree, where we have a large enough contingent of people that would actually, bring these things down purposelessly anyway. But beyond that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say on it. One of the things that I'm concerned is, we sent out an RFP on the development of certain artwork, and we didn't even get any bids. So, clearly whatever we're doing, it's not working with regard to this program. So I think it needs wholesale changes, but, what we do, I don't know. I think there needs to be a lot more public input, but I don't really see that coming at any point in time. I mean, ultimately, it's probably just going to be something that's designated to somebody internally, and then, we get some report from some consultant that says we need to do this or that, and realistically, it's not going to end up being all that much better. So, my thought is let's look for some creative ideas. Like I said, I don't care. Musical Road sounds good to me. Let's do that. Let's do something else that's actually creative, that actually is something that people will want to go to see the artwork for, or listen to the artwork, or experience the artwork, as opposed to, just random droll that we're driving by in our cars.
So you're saying something that makes it on Wikipedia.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do that.
I got an idea. Is that limited only to like art pieces? Can it be like a nice botanical garden that's kind of artsy and it's inviting to our local community, where they want to go spend time with their family, their kids, and bring up, make memories there? I mean, you can make like an art garden and just have maybe musical instruments or things placed in there that's artsy, so it kind of drives the mind, stimulates their minds. Today's youth, our elder generation, go relax, enjoy it, be able to see things. I don't know. I mean, it's just a thought.
Art gallery or something? Is that what you're saying?
Garden. I don't know if a gallery, not everybody's going to want to go to an art gallery because not everybody's interested in art, but, park somewhere where they can go relax, unwind. A lot of people like to get out and make memories. I mean, the airplane park, everybody knows it, because us as all kids, I grew up in this area. That's where we used to go hang out. It's probably one of the coolest parks we'd grow up and go to. But, maybe we need to build something for our next generations to come, so they have places to go and make memories and remember. I don't know.
I think a piece of art is unique in itself, and it's unique to the person who's looking at it as well. That's why it's in the eye of the beholder. However, just because we have one incident that some people that decapitated the bronze statue doesn't make us to not have it, or having the bronze statues at the McIntyre shopping center is nice, but not nice at somewhere else.
Talking about future-wise.
Right, future-wise. I think artwork is unique. It's unfortunate that someone in our community that, we spend so much money on, and the businesses spend so much money on it. However, they kind of like destroy that pieces. And that doesn't mean that we need to comply to their behavior, because it doesn't make all the residents bad. We just have to make sure that we can come up with more artworks and have different type of artworks, so that I know this program just started in 2004. Some city have this type of artwork 100 years. I mean, West Covina has been around 100 years. So we just, come up with the art program since 2004. So it's very infant. It's very infant in the program itself. So I think the more we have it, the more unique. As you walk around or drive around, you say, you know what? I see this piece of art that I like, versus not having anything, or limiting artworks to, how would I want to say? I mean, art is a piece of art. So it's you just can't limit in terms of what type of art. that it should have, or
Yeah, I
we
think
should have, or not.
I don't think we should limit, but I mean, we should recommend to someone, don't.
That's why it's
don't
important.
put bait.
The next step is it's important is that we should have a
Who's going to pay for this
commission.
statue that has to be, they got cut off at the feet?
I'm not saying that, as a community, a bad person doesn't mean we should limit and not have that. But that's why the next step is that it's important to have reestablish the art commission, having
Well, you
someone
can
that
make it out
actually
of
come up
something
with.
else and paint it bronze, and we're just saying, maybe just to deter the theft of them. I don't know.
Yeah, the sky's the limit, but I would say to someone, if you want to use bronze, go for it. Make someone some side cash. It's not just West Covina that it happens in. In surrounding communities, it's happening as well. So, yeah, I have nothing against bronze or copper or any metal, really. It's just, unfortunately, like if I were to build art, I probably would kind of shy away from that because I know I would be inviting risk, I guess I could say. I mean, I actually, right across the street from my office in Covina, copper statue got stolen off the corner of 2nd and Badillo. So I think it's, not to say don't ever do that again, but it's like, hey, I mean, if you burn your hat on the hot stove, you kind of got to learn, like, maybe don't do that again. But yeah, I mean, I think the sky's the limit and anything's open. I would be interested in looking at best bang for our buck. One thing I've noticed from a lot of cities is a lot of art is extremely expensive. I would say let's try to, if possible, shy away from incredibly expensive art projects because we'll be able to do a lot less, and see if we could look at anything and everything for art that we would get the most, like everyone's discussing, most bang for our buck and something lasting, whatever that may be. What do you guys think?
Yes, all of the above. But, I guess this is a topic for another day for, I don't know if anybody wants to.
And part of, sorry to interrupt, Chair, to piggyback on what Sheena was saying, to bring back or reestablish a commission. I think if we want to move in that direction, that's exactly what we could recommend to the council, to reinitiate that and to consider that, because that's the final paragraph of our report, and that's the staff recommendation to us anyway, so I think that's a good idea.
Chair, if I may. So if the city council establishes a public arts and public places subcommittee, and based on what the planning commission has recommended or expressed so far, the arts and public places subcommittee would not just be limited to reviewing visual arts and coming up with visual arts ideas. It could also evolve they can also discuss performing arts ideas, or idea that Commissioner Lewis had presented, Musical Road, and so forth. It's just I guess a smaller group of people that are in the council, senior community services commission, and the planning commission, so that you can come in and discuss your ideas, so that it can be presented later on to the respective commission or city council. So it's.
Is there a question there?
So I guess the question is, so what would be the purpose, meeting time, and everything for this Arts and Public Places subcommittee? I guess what I'm concerned about is, look, we have a bad enough time in this city getting people to come to any meetings, okay, much less city council or planning commission. The idea that we're going to have, just 4 people having a discussion about public art, I got to be honest with you, I'm not exactly enamored with the idea of pigeonholing it into the hands of 4 people, and then all of a sudden it gets brought up to planning and then subsequently brought up at city council, and we're just here to rubber stamp it. I just don't think that that makes a lot of sense. I'd rather have more ideas than less. So, I mean, if the concern is, hey, we need to have less than a quorum of each of these entities, then, fine. Have 2 planning commissioners, have 4 community services or community and senior services commissioner, and then 1 or 2 council members. At least you'll be able to get ideas, hopefully, that are flowing from more than just one person. That's my biggest concern on all of it. Is I've seen how subcommittees play out, and it's just it's like traffic committee. I mean, nobody goes to traffic committee. It was at 3:00 today. Why? Because, kids are getting out of school, parents are picking them up, people are at work. It's the most ridiculous time to have a meeting in the world, but you know what? We do it anyway. And so, same with whatever subcommittee we're going to create. I mean, I just think it's silliness. Let's make it at a time where people can go. It's well publicized by council, by us, by community and senior services, and have more people involved instead of less.
Is it possible? I mean, I'm new to this, so I'm kind of asking the questions as well. What about having like a contest with the community? There's let's say some kind of reward or prize money for people to submit their best ideas, and then us as the commission or council, whoever needs to look it over, we vote on what we like. I mean, we're not going to have all the answers, but someone out there might have a better idea or answer than us, and give us a great idea for our community. They have to be someone from the community to give their input. I mean, I don't know.
We could, to answer your question through the chair, we could make that recommendation to the council to consider doing it in that fashion. I mean, right here, the staff report requests and recommends from us to already recommend the potential artwork right now, but as we're finding, it is kind of challenging to come up with the right thing. So I think our recommendation could be partially what you just described, and additionally what everyone else here on the commission thinks could kind of complete the recommendation to council. So yeah, I think we can and should do what you just suggested and go from there.
Chair, if I may. So all the ideas that the Planning Commission had presented and discussed today, I can go ahead and list that in a staff report to the City Council.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you, Joanne. Okay, we'll move on to non-hearing item number 3. This is one we've all been waiting for, I think. It caused so much of a discussion when we were first looking at to pass or to give the conditional use permit. This is for the 2024-2025 annual report on service stations granted a conditional use permit to allow beer and wine sales for off-site consumption. So you have a staff report for that, Joanne?
Yes, I'll be delivering the staff report to this one as well. So a bit of history here on September 5th, 2023, the City Council approved Ordinance 2515, which allowed alcohol, mainly only beer and wine sales in service station convenience stores with an approval of a conditional use permit with certain performance measures or standards. Since that time, the Planning Commission, the city staff, the Planning Division has received 6 applications and has presented those 6 applications to the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission has approved all 6 applications thus far. Based on those 6 applications, only 3 locations have been approved or have been issued a license by the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control. So I'll go ahead and go over those locations. 12 09 South Sunset Avenue. It's a Chevron. ABC issued their alcohol license on April 29, 2024. Staff went to the site and did a site visit inspection and found that they are in compliance of their conditions of approval and what they were approved for. And for all 3 locations, staff contacted the police department and also the public safety code enforcement division or department and asked if they can provide us any records or if they have any concerns regarding these businesses, or if there's been any alcohol related calls for service since for the last year at these locations. And none of the police department and public safety code enforcement stated that none of the 3 locations that have been issued ABC licenses have had any issues with both departments. So back to the Chevron, they comply with the conditions of approval. They have 11 refrigerators, coolers, and 3 of those, as pictured along here, is occupied by beer and wine. And they also have a section on the side with wine. And then 246 North Citrus Avenue, it's a mobile. Their ABC license was issued in June 7, 2024. And they have beer and wine in 4 cooler refrigerators towards the side of the business that's shown on the photograph. So it's limited to that. This area in the back where they're showing location is beer and wine location is not accessible to the public. It's just where they store it. However, these 4 refrigerator coolers is part of their display area. So when staff went out there to go do an inspection, I found that they are in compliance with the floor plan and with their approved plans. The other location is 1333 West Merced Avenue. Is the ARCO. They got issued their business license on January 30th of this year. I went to the site and took some pictures, and they too are in compliance with their conditions of approval. They only have, at the moment, although they have alcohol display areas in different locations within the convenience store, at the moment they only have alcohol display in 2 of their coolers, which is these 2. With that, that concludes the staff report. If the Planning Commission has any questions, I'll be able to answer.
So were the other 3 denied?
The other 3 were not denied. They just haven't been issued their ABC license yet.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments on this matter?
No.
Okay. Commission reports, comments, miscellaneous items. John, do we have any?
I think I have something. I did attend the workshop, the Parks and Rec Recreation Master Plan Workshop number 2. I was on Wednesday, May 28th, to observe it and see what it was all about, and just going over the items they want to, or I guess our community wants to add to the parks, whatever they recommend, and pretty much they're taking out a tally, I guess, and they'll compile it after, I'm guessing, after the 3rd meeting.
Joanne, were there any items?
Sorry. In the agenda, there's also the appointment of 2 new design review subcommittee
Oh, yes.
members.
Okay, tonight we're selecting 2 members of the Planning Commission to serve on the Design Review Subcommittee. Are there any nominations or volunteers?
I was on it the last time, and I'd like to continue with the design review.
I would like to as well.
I don't know if anyone else.
I will second both of you.
All third, I don't have any problem with that.
Thank you both
Enjoy.
for volunteering for that.
Okay. Let's see. Does anyone have anything to report? Oh, no. So that's on that item as well. Community Development Director's report. Joanne, do you have any items to report?
There are several, mainly community events. The summer concert series will be starting soon. The first one will be held on June 18th, and it's every Wednesday through July 30th, except for July 2nd. And there's going to be live music, food, and different vendors, and a lot of fun. So we're inviting the public and the commissioners to attend the summer concert series. On July 4th, the city is going to be hosting one of our largest events, which is on a 4th of July fireworks spectacular at the West Covina Sportsplex. The city is also working on a Parks and Recreation Master Plan. The next workshop for the Parks and Recreation Master Plan would be workshop number 3, and it will be held on July 7th. It is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the West Covina Sportsplex. We have Lydia DeZara here today. Lydia is a friend. Lydia, can you stand up, please? Lydia is the Planning Division or Community Development Department senior sorry. It's a little bit emotional because she has been serving the department for the past 25 years, and she had filed for retirement, and her last day will be on July 3rd, working for the city. Lydia is very helpful. She is such an asset to the city and the department. She has been working with the Planning Commission for the past 25 years. Since COVID, she has been staying behind the scenes, but she has been the person preparing the Planning Commission agenda and also the minutes. So we wish Lydia good luck on her retirement, and we will miss her greatly.
Thank you, Lydia, for all that you have done for the city of West Covina.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you.
Everyone's going to miss you.
We're going to miss you. I mean, throughout the years that you've been here, you used to be part of us in this meeting every single other Tuesday. And her, yes, that's right over there. So I think that was before COVID. She used to be part of us years ago. Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
We're going to miss you too, Lydia.
We're going to miss you. Thank you so much, and thank you for all the email.
So, Chair, if I may, I would like to make a special request. Since it's Lydia's last meeting, if you would allow her to hit the gavel and end the meeting.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So Lydia,
Consensus.
I have one more thing. I want to go back to item number 3 because I don't think we asked you, and I know we talked about it earlier, and I think everyone should know. Everybody probably wants to know. It's been a year since some of these gas stations have received their approval with ABC and are now have the alcohol consumption on, or are actually selling the alcohol. So there have been no incidents, correct? Nothing that would be any problematic.
no, not at the moment.
Okay, so during this year, because we wanted this to come back with 12 months to make sure that this wasn't going to be a problem, an ongoing problem that are like on some other sites. And so we have good news that there has been no problems and everything has been going smoothly, and all the business owners have been ensuring that everything has been incident-free, no calling of the police, and so we are good on that one. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew. And then, let's see, are there any city council actions to report?
There are no city council actions to report.
Okay. Then we'll move on to adjournment, and we'll have Lydia come up here. Or does she have a gavel there?
No, she does not.
Okay, I'd like to declare this meeting adjourned at 8 o'clock.
Right, thank you.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.